I have the pleasure and the privilege to welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador of Brazil to Greece, Mr. Paulo Roberta Franca. We will have an exchange of views, as you can see, the two of us, between ambassadors, on the upcoming COP30, the conference of the parties under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Protection, which will be held in Belém, in Brazil, this November. We are all looking forward to this conference, which has a double symbolism. First of all, taking place in Brazil. And as you know, Brazil has hosted the Earth Summit, the Rio Conference, the Rio Declaration. It has led through its initiatives to the Sustainable Development Goals, and Brazil as a country is a reference for environmental and climate protection. And number two, because Belém is in the region of the Amazon. And Amazon is, I have been there, is the most emblematic, the most important rainforest, a tropical forest of our planet, which is a lung of our planet. Of course, it has suffered in the past, but there is a strong willingness, and President Lula now is putting the protection of the Amazon very high on the agenda, as this forest is part of our cultural and natural heritage, and in that respect, it needs to be protected. And as you all know, I am leading the Greek initiative at United Nations level on protecting cultural and natural heritage from climate impacts. So we are very happy to have the ambassador to tell us about how the presidency, the Brazilian presidency, is planning to organize COP30. I know already that the level of ambition is very high. There is a lot of emotional intelligence in what they want to do, in addition to the artificial intelligence, which is also important, important nowadays. And I was struck, and I want to refer to this, Mr. Ambassador, to the Mutirao concept. The Mutirao is a concept which came from the autochthones, and we know that the autochthones in the Amazon forest have played and are still playing a very important role. It is a concept that promotes the link between ancestral intelligence, which is very important to preserve, and which is a historic knowledge on how we can protect our planet, linked to circular economy, and also a concept promoting solidarity, common understanding, cooperation. So this as a motto is very important, because Brazil wants to promote this at the international level and have this as the motto of the next conference. Without ado, I would like to give the floor to the Ambassador of Brazil to give us more details on how the presidency is planning to organize this ambitious conference.
Thank you so much, Ambassador George Kremlins. I'm very happy and honored to be here with you and to be here at the Delphi Economic Forum. And I am very thankful to the organizers for this very nice and important invitation. Brazil, as you mentioned, has a long history in participating, promoting involvement in environmental diplomacy. We organized the Rio Summit in 1992, the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. I happened to be there, one of the negotiators for Brazil. And we have organized as well the 2012, the 20 years of the Rio Summit. We did another summit, which was as well very important. And we have as well a road that we have come through from the IPCC that was created in 1988. The first, as you mentioned, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which was signed in 1992, the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement, and we already have 29 Conference of the Parties. So we have a lot of knowledge that has been built on a very important subject. We created concepts such as sustainable development, which was very important in 1992 and continues to be very important as of now. This specific COP that will take place in Belém, as you mentioned, Amazon, in November 2025, is very challenging because we have a number of issues that are coming. First issue, which is important to identify, is the fact that, unfortunately, we face a worrying tendency of reversal to unilateralism, when we need most of never multilateralism. We need international cooperation. We need to be together. This is our planet. It's one planet that we have, and we have to take care of it with love and with attitudes, with action. The second challenge that we have is that 2024, as we have noticed, has been the warmest year ever recorded. So we have this challenge now, and there were, as you know as well, a number of environmental tragedies that happened in 2024 and 2025. There were fires in different forests. There was the Canadian fire, which was terrible. We had the flood in the south of Brazil, my hometown, which was amazingly terrible as well, a tragedy that affected enormous quantities of people, businesses, farmers. We have fires here in Greece. It was so terrible to see last summer, you know, the sky of Athens covered with the dark clouds of the fires. So we have to do something. And these are the two basic and important challenges that we have ahead of us. We have to reverse the tendency to fragmentation. We have to work together. We have to go back to multilateralism, as I mentioned, to cooperation, and to develop and to take action upon all that we have gone through and we have developed as knowledge and as well as agreements during this important road that we take from 1992 or 1988, if you want, but from 1992, the first important conference, up to now. So we have to. We have now, and it's important to us, to take action according to the nationally determined contributions. We have for that as well an enhanced transparency framework, which is very important, something that we have accomplished. We have the new collective quantified goal on climate finance, which is a very important achievement as well that we have negotiated. We have the rules for the carbon market, which are as well important achievements that we have made. So we have to affirm this collective progress towards Paris Agreement temperature goals, and we have to acknowledge that the agreement is working, even if there is so much more to do. So Belém conference, the COP30 conference, has to come from this, have to take this and enhance it and transform what is very important, our words, our beautiful texts, in action. That is the great challenge that we have, and this is the hope that Brazil has for this conference. We have, as I said, to pull up the different levers of our processes. And talking about levers, you have an important scientist, Archimedes, that once said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." We have to move the world. We have to follow Archimedes. We have to do something. You mentioned mutirão. Mutirão is a very important concept. You described it so well that I will not try to follow your step. You have already done. But mutirão is a concept that brings us the idea of community, solidarity, working together for some goal. And mutirão, we have to transform this concept into international cooperation. We have to build up these links. We have to work together towards the goals that we all of us have and we share. There are some areas that Brazil wants to work and that are very important. And we are going to build up from Baku, from COP29, which was a very important achievement, as I have already mentioned. One of them has to be with finance. We look forward to working with COP29 presidency in guiding Baku to Belém roadmap to 1.3 trillion US dollars by 1935 for climate projects.
On a yearly basis.
On a yearly basis. So this is our target. And why developing countries are so important in this regard? Because, you know, the multilateral financial architecture has to work to benefit all of us. And we have to remove the barriers that create difficulties for developing countries to achieve, to address their problems, and to achieve and to arrive to getting the financial means that they need to put forward projects on a country-owned basis. Technology will also be a key priority in COP30. We have developed so much. Let's put it to work for us. You know, nowadays we have so many things that we can do already in terms of mitigation and in terms of adaptation as well.
Absolutely.
So let's
Equally important.
put everything that we have in terms of technology together, and we think of, in this regard, to create a digital platform to facilitate implementation of mitigation action by enhancing collaboration between governments, between different stakeholders, and this is an important aspect that we want to address. We need to talk about adaptation. As I said to you, there was a tragedy in my hometown in 2024, and the problem is that we had a flood that we had never seen before. And it's due, we assume, due to the scientific knowledge that we have, to the problems that we are facing related to climate change. Never, according to the data we have, it had rained so much in such a short period. And we have to address this. There is knowledge available. We have to address the question of how we are going to deal with the question of administration of water, how we manage it, how we manage the rivers, the lakes that we have, which are important sources of life. So the fact is that we have to use what we have achieved so far, and we have to implement, we have to transform into action, and we have to use as well the traditional knowledge that we have. You mentioned mutirão. Indigenous people in Brazil and elsewhere in the world have amounts of knowledge on how to cope with environment. Let's use it. Let's put everything together in order that we can move forward. And as I said before, we have one planet. This planet is ours. So international cooperation is important, action is important, and of course, we want to build on the partnership between President Lula and Secretary General Guterres and all the leadership in our world to do an important job at COP30. And of course, Greece in this matter is a very important player. We count on you.
And we do hope that the Greek initiative at UN level on protecting cultural and natural heritage will be highlighted in the conclusions of the COP. Just to say, listening to you, Ambassador, that we are all having high expectations. And I do believe that the next generations deserve to have high expectations. And what I like in your plan is this holistic approach, this team spirit, and this team vision. It's not only a finance conference, as was the successful conference in Baku. It is a holistic conference on protecting our planet in terms of mitigation efforts to reduce CO2 emissions on the one hand, and on the other hand, to build resilience. Build resilience is extremely important. We need to make our cultural and natural heritage resilient. And in that respect, let me say a few words about the cultural dimension of the COP, which I believe is extremely important. As you know, we have the Emirates Declaration, which was adopted in Dubai, a declaration on culture-based climate action. We do believe that this has to be followed up, as unfortunately Baku didn't focus on the cultural dimension. Reading your and listening to you, the cultural dimension in all what you have mentioned is very present. And I have spotted two important points that you want to develop. One is a global ethical stocktake initiative. This is an idea that you have to build a network to take stock of all the views, be it from the academic community, from the business sector, from culture, from cinema, from media, from the civil society. It's extremely important. And in that respect, we do believe, I'm happy to see here colleagues and friends from Europa Nostra who have been leading this initiative also at European level. So this is a great initiative on the one hand. And on the other hand is the circle of indigenous leadership. You have a very strong one in Brazil, but I do believe that we have this indigenous knowledge also in Greece and in other parts of the world. And this refers to the ancestral intelligence. And that brings me to the circular economy patterns. I do believe that circular economy needs also to be promoted in Belém as the new economic model which will boost energy transition and which will lead to climate neutrality. Therefore, I do believe that one of the requests of the civil society is not only COP30 to be a success. We deserve to have a success in this difficult period. Unfortunately, the United States of America have withdrawn from the Paris Agreement, and in Belém we will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, and this will have a lot of repercussions because the amounts available and the 1.3 trillion needed on a yearly basis is under threat now because of this new development. Therefore, I do believe, as you have said, that we need to unite all our voices in order to strengthen this message and to contribute to the success of COP30. You have the final word.
Very briefly, because you said many important things that I agree totally with you. It's a pity that happened this late development, but I must say to you that we have to continue. We the stakeholders, we that are going to participate fully in COP30, we have to continue You know, we have to continue with our actions. We have to build up, as I said, with the knowledge and with the actions that we have done so far. And we need this. But one important thing is that the nexus between culture and climate for us, for Brazil, is very important, let me tell you. And it's so important that we are co-chairs. We are exercising the co-presidency of the group of Friends on Culture-Based Climate Action.
Indeed. Yeah.
And you mentioned something that for us is very important. The Circle of Indigenous Leadership. Maybe we have to enhance the participation of the indigenous leadership and the local communities in our work. They have the knowledge. They have things that we have to learn from them. They have managed, the indigenous people in Brazil and other places in the world have managed the environment in a way that we, our modern society, has not known how to cope with.
Absolutely.
And I think we have a lot of lessons that we can gain from them. Let's use this knowledge.
Absolutely.
And let's work together. That's the plan.
Let me add that we need also to protect island states.
Absolutely.
Because there are important island states in the Pacific and Indian Ocean. They have strong communities there which deserve protection. They are part of our natural and cultural heritage. And probably the wish of all of us is to have this group of friends that you are chairing formalized to become an institution and to have a roadmap which will lead to a formal decision and hopefully one day to the amendment of the Paris Agreement or to a new protocol which will provide the legal basis for a culture-based climate action, because culture is, as you have said, the new narrative. Yeah. It starts from all of us.
Yes.
It starts from the past and goes to the future.
Absolutely.
And in that respect, we need to unite our voices.
Yes. Let's work Brazil and Greece together
Thank you.
Towards this goal.
All of us, all the international community. Nobody is excluded. I would like to thank you for this great conversation. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. I'm sure we could speak for hours, but we will organize an event in the European Public Law Organization before COP30, and you will all be invited to this event and in the Circular Gaia conference, which will take place on the 2nd and 3rd of October. You are most welcome, all of you, in Athens, and of course, the ambassador. So looking forward to our next meeting and wish you a lot of success in this important Delphi Forum. Thank you very much again.
I just second you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.